Okay, so in this video I'm going to show you how to add foods into MyFitnessPal. It's basically how to use the diary. So the first thing you're going to do is open up MyFitnessPal. And when you open up MyFitnessPal, you'll be sent to this home page right here. And so the main icon you're going to be using is this diary tab. So that diary tab right there, you're going to select on that diary tab, and that's going to open up your food diary. So at the very top line of your food diary tab, you're going to see a lot of your information. So you're going to see the specific goal that I've created for you, right? The deficit goal. You're going to see there in the top left corner. You can see that with the foods I've already added into my diary, the foods have come out to 738. And then it shows that on the right hand side I have 1,614 calories remaining. Do not worry about adding in exercise. I've already factored in exercise to your caloric deficit, so do not worry about tracking exercise through this app or water intake. We're just going to focus on food. So again, you have your goal, you have the foods that you've consumed, and then you have the calories remaining right here, okay? So as you scroll down, you'll have your food separated into a couple different meals, right? You have breakfast, and you can see I have already added in some foods for breakfast. You can see lunch, dinner, which is open. I haven't added anything in there just yet. And then you see snacks, which I've added a few items there. You see exercise and water. Again, do not worry about exercise and water. We're just going to focus on using the breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, okay? So the basics on how to actually add in a food. So again, let's say we're going to add something in for lunch, right? And let's say we're going to have this protein bar right here, this Kirkland protein bar. The first thing you can do is you can press add food, and it's going to open up to this page. So when you press add food, it's going to store all of your history of things that you eat consistently right here. So keep in mind, as you build consistency with your intake, it's actually going to become a lot easier to track your foods. Now again, if you don't have consistency with your intake, you're not following a good routine, and you're all over the place all the time, yeah, it's probably going to be a little bit harder to track your foods. But again, over time though, it's going to save a lot of that information. So it's a little bit easier to find it. Now in this example, I'm going to search for a food by name here at the top with this little search feature. So you're going to press on that, and it's a Kirkland protein bar. So I'm going to type in Kirkland protein bar, and it's a peanut butter flavor. So I'm going to type in peanut butter, and I'm going to search for that. And then you're going to get all these different options right here. So this Kirkland peanut butter bar is 180 calories. I can see it on the nutrition label on the back side. So as I look through these options, this one right here, the peanut butter chunk protein bar, is going to be the one I want to add. So I'm going to press on that. And then when you press on that, it's going to open up the nutrition information. So you'll see calories, you'll see carbs, fat, protein for this item. So this is showing you that it's 180 calories. That's what I want. So I'm going to press this check mark in the top right corner. Boom. And now that's into my lunch. And it shows for lunch I've had 180 calories there so far. But there's another feature. So let's say I wanted to have another protein bar. Let's say I was really hungry and I went for a second protein bar. But let's say I only had half of a protein bar. So what I can do is I can go to add food. Now I'm going to find it in my recent history. So again, this is the one I want, the 180 calorie right here. So let's say I have another protein bar, but let's say I only have half of the protein bar. Then you're going to want to go to number of servings, and I'm going to change that. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to go to 0.5. And if you notice now, it's automatically adjusted the calories to 90 calories, basically half of the carbs, half protein, half fat. It does all the work for you, right? 0.5. Now, when you're adjusting serving sizes, you have two options. You can press this fraction feature right here, which is going to open up like, fractions. You can have a quarter of the bar, right? Half. I don't necessarily recommend that. I personally like to use the decimal, so I leave it set to decimal. And again, you can, if you had 3/4 of the bar, you can put 0.75. If you had half of the bar, which for this example, I'm going to leave it in. I'm going to delete that, put 0.5. So again, I'm going to press this check mark to save it. I'm going to press this check mark in the top right corner, and now it's added in a half of a protein bar. So again, you can search by a food by name, you can use the history, and another feature, which is the one I personally recommend, is when you press add food, you're going to press the scan barcode feature. So you're going to press scan barcode, and then it's going to open up the barcode, the little camera, and you're going to just hover the barcode there, and then you can see, boom, it automatically uploads the information there, which is going to be the easiest. So if you're out and about, whatever you have there at home, you can just scan the barcode, and it's going to pull up the information much faster than trying to search it by name. So again, as an example, let's say I had a third protein bar, but let's say I had only a quarter of it. Then I can go to number of servings and put 0.25 and then save that. Boom. So one thing that's important is as you start tracking your calories, there's two most important things: is sticking true to your calories and then also monitoring your proteins. Again, the protein goal, like I've said, is the most important thing to follow. So if you press on this remaining over here in the top right there, you're gonna press on that, and then it's gonna show me that today, that shows me the macros. So you can see carbohydrates there. Everything that I've entered so far is 143 grams of carbs. And if you look at the fat, everything I've entered so far in my diary is 23 grams of fat total. The protein, it shows that I've had 98 grams of protein, and on the right hand side it's going to show percentages matched to it. So it's a good way to monitor your protein intake. The protein is what we want to pay attention to, calories and protein. So I like to show this feature. You can also use different things, like you can press nutrients here and it's going to show you different nutrients: proteins, carbs, fiber, sugar, fat. You don't have to worry too much about that one. You can also look at how your calories are split up amongst the day. Again, not super important. I would leave it on this macro one right here. You look at the macros because we want to track the protein. That's what we want to pay attention to. So I'm going to press this X in the top left and navigate back to my diary. So again, that's how to add in that. I'm going to go ahead and give you two different examples of how to add in foods right now. All right, what's up? So we're back here in the kitchen now, and I just want to give you a couple more examples. So I have some oats here, I have an apple, I have some coffee mate. Just kind of want to give you some practical examples of how to add in some basic food. So again, in MyFitnessPal, I'm going to add this into my snacks area right here. So let's say I was going to have this apple right here. This is a Gala apple. And so what you can do is in your food log, I can press add food and I can search by name, Gala apple, and search. And you're going to get all these search results here, right? So the top one that says best matches, it says one medium Gala apple. We're going to go with that one. But one medium is pretty general. Now apples are going to be bigger, they're also going to be smaller. So I personally like to get as exact as possible. So here's a tip, you want to go to serving size here at the top. So where it says serving size one medium, you can click on that and you'll notice that it gives you a bunch of different ways to track the serving size. So it says 1 gram, 1 ounce, 1 large, 1 pound, things like that. So in this example, especially with fruit, what I recommend is to go to grams. So I'm going to select 1 gram as the serving size, and I'm going to press that check mark. Now if you notice, it says 1 gram now is 1 calorie, right? So what I use then is my food scale right here. So I'm going to use my food scale, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the Gala apple right there, and then now you can see it comes out to 146 grams. 146 grams. So now what I want to do is in MyFitnessPal, for number of servings, I can select number of servings and type in 146. Now you'll notice that it changes it to 83 calories, right? So that's getting more exact with fruit, bananas, apples, grapes, things like that. I do recommend that because there could be some difference between, a general recommendation and an exact recommendation. So I'm going to press that check mark here and then add that in. You'll now notice that's in my snacks section. So that's one example of how to do, some basic fruit, changing the serving size and using your food scale. Now let's do another example. Let's say you're going to have some of this coffee mate here, right? So I'm going to press add food. I'm going to do scan barcode. And then in this example, I'll scan the barcode here. So I'm going to hover over it and you're going to see it's going to pull up that information. It says 15 calories is 1 tablespoon. So you would want to use a tablespoon measure like this, right? For your coffee, this is 1 tablespoon. And then let's say you used 4 tablespoons in your coffee. You just dumped it right in. You would go to number of servings and then delete the 1, add in 4, and you'll notice it changes the calories to 60 calories now. 4 carbs, 4 grams fats. I'm going to press that check mark here, and then I'm going to press the check mark on the top, and then now I have 4 tablespoons of this coffee mate. So again, I can use the scan barcode feature. I use a measuring, like a tablespoon. I have my food scale I'm using. You can change serving sizes when need be. And then let's do one more example too. So again, let's say I'm going to have some oats as a snack. So one thing I'll do is I'll press add food. Let's go scan barcode, and then now let's scan the barcode here. It's going to pull up that information. So one basic serving size says it's 1/2 cup. So there's 2 ways you can do it. The first way is you can use something like this. This is a 1/2 cup. You can scoop it in, dump it into your bowl right here, and then that's a 1/2 cup serving. But if you notice here on the food label, it says 1/2 cup is 40 grams. So what I personally like to do is to try to get as exact as possible. You know the drill. So what I'll do is I'll use my food scale. So use the food scale. I have my bowl on the food scale. And then what I'll go ahead and do is I'll dump in 40 grams of the oats. As you can see, it starts going up right there, getting closer, and 40 grams is right about there. So 40 grams. So again, you can use your food scale, and then I add that in, boom, and then that's what I'm having. So I wanted to show you a couple different strategies, right? You can use measuring tools like tablespoons, the half cup, your food scale. You can change number of servings. You can use the scan barcode feature. But keep in mind, over time, as you keep adding these foods in, it's going to become easier and easier because it's in your search history too as well. So wanted to show you a couple of those tips and tricks. Alright, so that was a couple different examples of how to add in some foods. So now you should have a better idea on how to add in foods in your diary, kind of what to look out for, and how to use some of the main features.